Where is the evidence?
It felt less like a sentencing and more like theater. Under the harsh lights of a Florida courtroom, Donna Adelson stood center stage, tearful, trembling, defiant. A 74-year-old matriarch playing the role of her life, a Shakespearean actress trapped inside her own tragedy. The curtain was closing, the verdict final. Yet instead of remorse, Donna delivered a monologue, part denial, part self-justification, and part performance. Her words weren't for the judge or even the family of Dan Markel, the man she was convicted of helping to kill. They were for the record, for the next act, her appeal. Through tears, Donna began like a grieving grandmother. She spoke of heartbreak, of loss, of the children caught between two families. Take a listen.
My heart was broken when Danny died. My grandsons were going to grow up without the father who loved them.
But you'll see, the tone shifted, the sympathy faded. She accused the system of failure, calling her trial a miscarriage of justice. She said the evidence was insufficient. She even claimed a juror had inside information. In other words, the jury got it wrong when they determined that Donna was guilty of conspiring to kill her son-in-law Dan Markel because she didn't want him to get custody of her grandchildren. She fought for her daughter Wendy, and when they didn't win, she wanted Dan dead.
It is interesting how the state can't make up its mind about who is what they call the, quote, mastermind behind this murder. In both of Catherine McBana's trials, the state claimed she was the mastermind behind Danny's murder. In my son Charlie Adelson's trial, they claimed he was the mastermind. And now in my trial, they claimed that I, this grandma, was the mastermind behind the murder. I had no idea that other people planned to cut Danny's life short. And the people who did this are exactly where they deserve to be. But I had no knowledge that this horrible, evil act was going to take place. If I had become aware of this plan before Danny was murdered, I would have stopped it. With not one iota of actual evidence, the state convinced a Tallahassee jury that I solicited and conspired with other people to have Danny killed. Where is the evidence prior to the murder?
It wasn't contrition. It was defiance dressed in sorrow, the soliloquy of a woman refusing to leave the stage.
Where is the evidence prior to the murder? The evidence beyond a reasonable doubt that the state needed to prove their case. Where is the evidence before July 18th, 2014 at 10:50 in the morning?
Before you continue, Mrs. Adelson, as it relates to this statement, is the defense trying to re-argue the trial?
The judge is giving Mrs. Adelson an opportunity to be heard.
Mrs. Adelson, you certainly can continue. However, the court can take into consideration the utter lack of remorse that you are displaying. Please proceed if you desire to do so.
Where is the evidence before July 18th, 2014 at 10:50 a.m. that revealed that I had any involvement in this vile and horrific act?
In Shakespeare, tragedy comes not from evil, but from fatal flaw. For Donna, that flaw is control. Even at sentencing, she tried to direct the scene to hold the spotlight. But Donna didn't have the final say.
Please rise. Level of planning and coordination to bring the murder of Professor Markel to fruition was significant in this case. These were not crimes of chance or opportunity, and these crimes also required you to conspire with your son and others. You certainly can choose to deny your involvement and maintain innocence. The court finds the evidence in this case is clear. You will be sentenced accordingly this afternoon. The jury has found you guilty on charges of first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and solicitation to commit first-degree murder, and the court previously adjudicated you guilty as to these same charges on September 4th of this year. On count 1 of the indictment for first-degree murder, you are hereby sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole or release.
When the judge finally spoke the words, "life in prison," Donna went silent. The tears stopped. The curtain fell.